All right, good morning. This is part three, aligning with the God frequency for co-creating. And I've been racking my brain to kind of try to figure out how to give you a different paradigm. And so I'm going to tell you a story. And the title of it will be, What If Religion Never Existed? So there was once this boy, and he was in a small village. It was only a few families, like 6 different families that had grown since the Great Disaster, and there were no books or anything like that. All they had was the word of mouth and the history of what had been written on the walls of great stories and things that had happened. It was the only thing that had survived. And so all of that previous paradigm and knowledge had been lost. And so in their culture, when they were children, they would let them talk to their imaginary friends, and, and they encouraged them to listen to the little voice inside them. And, it was a normal thing for a lot of the kids to be talking all the time to this thing that was next to them that, they thought was their imaginary friends, but they would have constant conversations with it all the time. And then, some of the older kids who hadn't went through the coming of age ritual, would sometimes laugh at them because they thought that they were just, they were imaginary friends, right? And they never actually experienced that part of it. And so every day they would, this little boy, let's just call him Tom. Tom, every day he would wake up and there would be this other consciousness there, and he would be talking to it. And in his dreams it would come to him and he would talk to it, and it was just like a normal part of him. And whenever he wanted something or would talk about things, if he really wanted something, he would ask it, what should I do, or how do I do it, or how do I ask for it? And then things would just start happening. And, he had learned from his parents that in the past there had been humans that could do all kinds of things that were just a part of their natural body, but everyone thought it was like a superpower or something. But, what they had discovered as far as their village of people was that it was just a natural thing, just like walking or breathing. It was just another ability that we as humans have that is should be secondhand. And so his whole childhood, he builds this relationship with this force, and that's what they called it. It was the force, and in their language, force meant spirit or the breath of fire. And so his whole life he's creating this relationship, and when he needs something, he just knows that it's going to happen. Like, the sun is going to rise. Like, the next step you take, you're not going to float off the ground. Like, something so certain, and you are so excited about it because it's the first time you've done it, and it's going to be the greatest experience you've ever had. He had that type of excitement, anticipating these different things that were going to happen. And he knew that they were going to happen because he had heard stories in the past about men who believed in this so much, and they knew it so much that they literally parted a sea. And they literally they had one basket of fish and 10,000 people to feed, and they literally immediately had enough to feed everyone, because they knew that there was this power inside them. They thought at first it was separate from themselves when they were kids, but when they went through their coming of age ritual, what they would discover is that it was never separate from them. It was always inside them. They just thought it was separate from them. And because this old system that had been in place was no longer there, it was something natural they discovered. And they also discovered that was how all the ancient civilizations before any religion ever existed, they knew that there was this force this breath of fire, this great spirit that permeated between everything. It was a feeling. It was something they knew. It was something that was trying to communicate with them. It was a part of them trying to communicate to them. And they had heard stories about a boy, a shepherd boy named David, and how he had slain a giant 10,000 times his size. And when all the other people in Israel were afraid and would not fight him, the one man who had no fighting experience but just had a belief, a knowing, a certainty, an absolute certainty, and the expectation of what was going to happen. And he slayed that giant when no one else would. And then when his Goliath's brother came, he slayed him too. And how did he do it? He did it because he had this power, this fire inside him. And when he went through the ritual, and all the kids went through the ritual, they discovered that this fire was always inside them, this spirit. And if they truly knew and understood that this spirit was a part of them, and just like walking, everything that they could do, all they had to do was visualize it, know that it was going to happen, give it to the force, and then expect it. That's all they had to do. But that knowing, that power, that belief in the Spirit, in this force, the belief in the force had to be built up, because it wasn't enough just to hear these stories of things that had happened. That belief had to be built up. And once that belief was an absolute certainty, there was, no matter what, the sun was going to rise the next day. Then they knew that whatever they asked for, whatever they commanded, whatever enemies came their way, they would defeat. How did the actual Israelites, not the Zionists that try to claim that they are Israelites, how did they defeat the 10,000 army of giants that had came? How'd they do it? They all believed. They had the power. And this power is not a supernatural ability, but we might see it as a supernatural ability today because it's been hidden from you so long. It's been hidden from everyone. It's a natural extension. It's a derivative of you being a human. And aligning with this frequency is first recognizing it's there, knowing it's there, and communicating with it, and understanding how to work with it. Did I say Jesus, that they prayed to Jesus or Yahweh or the God of war, religion, man. Religion. What's a legion? Oh, a legion's in the military. Oh yeah, okay, so you're military and into Yahweh's God of war, right? Into Yahweh's army, Metatronic system. This is what we're escaping. But I wanted to give you that paradigm to think about. And I will go more into the connection. But it's this daily thing. It's this constant communication. It's living right. And you have to create space for new things to happen. So how do you do that? You have to change. You have to start doing things differently. If you want things to change, you have to change. Reality doesn't happen to you. It flows through you. It literally flows through you. And just think about this. The Anunnaki, they come down. If any of this is true, they're creator gods. They mix some of their essence with us. So even, I've already explained quantumly how everything is a fractal of God, but even if you didn't believe that, if you believe any of the old stories, then you know that it's impossible for us not to have co-creating essence within it, because we have it from the creator, pulse of creation, everywhere, everything that exists, and then the co-creating gods that was created by our creator. We have that essence in us as well. So how is it possible that we can't create? I give it to God.